Alright, welcome to the assembly of the Ork Gorkanaut. I'm going to walk through the steps here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out each of these pieces, clean them all up, and then show you these assemblies step by step as I go through. I'm not 100% sure which variant I'm going to build. I'm going to see what kind of weapons options I have, if it's any option to magnetize things, you know, if the parts are separate enough. And yeah, I'm going to try to walk it through and explain things as I go, see if there's any tricky steps along the way, and then we'll have this thing built. So stay tuned, and I'll be back with step one. Okay, so I have the parts for step one, the upper hull, all ready to go. So we have parts 71 and 70, number 82 here, and 49. So I'm going to be using liquid plastic cement from Testers. You can use whatever plastic cement you like. I like the liquid stuff just because it goes together really nicely. You just kind of dry fit things together and put a little bit in there, and it flows in the crack. So I'm just going to squeeze those and do the same on this side here. If you've watched my other videos, you see that I like Tamiya extra thin cement as well. That's actually my favorite, but the Tester stuff is good. It's a little bit cheaper, so use that for some of these bigger models where I need lots of glue. Okay, so that's going to go like this, and this piece here will go on top, and we'll get some nice glue along there, and that's the upper hull assembly complete. So just make sure I squeeze that, get all the gaps together, and there we go. So the next one will be lower hull, so I'll get those parts clipped out and I'll show you that assembly. Okay, so here we go with step two. There's kind of three parts to this step, and it's going to be the whole lower hull assembly. So starting off with here 32 and 30, so they're going to go together like this. Kind of make sure I get a nice straight line there, and then I'm going to get parts 78 and 79 as well as 30, and they're going to go along the bottom there. It's going to go like that. And I think I'm going to put 30 along the top here, little slot there for that, and it's going to go in just like so. And then I get number 78, and I'm going to pre-glue these pieces here, and it's going to go like so. Okay, so there's part A. Then B, I flip this over and upside down, and I've got this piece here, number 60, and it's going to go in the bottom like that. So I can put that in there and get some glue along that edge and along these two surfaces here. Just like that. So we're getting pretty assembled now. Next up is part C. So I'm going to put the back piece on first. So that's number 59. It's going to go on the back just like that. Get a bit of glue. Push that in there. And there we go. And then the front side here, we have these two doors, and they're telling us not to glue these. So these are the doors that the guys, I guess, charge out of. So there's a little pin at the bottom there. It's just going to go in like that. And it'll be the same on the other side. And then the piece on the top will hold that in place. So what the piece on the top is number 36. So these are going to go like this. And 36 will go right there. So it's going to glue against these two top surfaces. So make sure to get a nice fit there. not the greatest fit, but there we go. So a bit of glue there. And hold that all together. And that's it. So there we go. Step 2, the whole hull. Okay, so here we go with step 3. We're going to be doing the left leg. I've also got all the parts cut out for the right leg. So yeah, let's see here. So first things first, we're going to do the upper part. This is step A here. So there's lots of surface area there that's going to be touching. These two are just going to pop together. Now I was looking ahead to see how these legs can be posable. So as a note, the way that they're posable, this knee joint here, there's a little pin there. There's also a little pin at the top here on this this hip joint. And if you shave that off, then you'll be able to move this a lot more than normal. So I'm going to try to do that now without cutting myself. So you just shave that out, and then you just have to use a bit more glue when you put that together. So if you look at the hull here, there's a little pin there. That little pin, well, it's this side here. It normally would go there to give you the exact right location. Now I can rotate it a lot more. Okay, so part A. Part B is going to be the lower foot. So I've got this piece here, number 23, and it's going to go in there with that. Now I'm not going to glue this all together, at least not the inside part, just so that'll give me a bit more posing options later. And I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to paint this, so I'm going to, you know, whether or not I glue it to the base, that sort of idea. So I'm going to leave that off for now, and put this piece here. So I'm leaving all these joints kind of open, so that I can rotate things as I pose it on the base. So I find that painting the base, you know, with all the dry brushing that goes into that, can be quite tricky. Okay, so I've got those. Now I've got the lower leg bit here. So you can see there's a little the joint there that would keep it from rotating, and that's gone now. So got part, which parts do I have here? I think I got one of the parts from the other side mixed in. Oh no, I don't. So actually there's an error in the picture here. So I'll get these going this way. The number 41 in the picture is actually wrong. So just as a note for the left leg, don't get messed up by that. Okay, so these are all going to go like that. So I'm going to keep these joints movable, so you can see a little bit of motion there, a little bit of motion there, and if I glue these two panels together, then that'll keep that all sturdy. Lots of glue, and that'll just flow in the crack, and I just squeeze that, and that's going to keep all that going. Next here, part D for the these legs is putting these last little bits on. So this piece here goes up at the top somewhere here, and I guess it doesn't really matter exactly where that goes. So I'm going to try to position that right. In fact, I'm going to do that at the very end after I've positioned this thing onto the hull. Okay, so then those knee pads go on and the little claws, and I'll do the same for the other leg, and I'll come back. Okay, so I finished up the legs. So here's the two. I've left these bits loose here. As well, I've got the knee joint that will move just a little bit, and I've got both legs done, all ready to go. So that's step 3 and 4. And as I mentioned before, I took off those little nibs there so that when they go onto the torso here, I can rotate these around and pose this lots of different ways. So we'll see how that's going to work out later. Alright, to finish off the body now, we've got these exhaust things here, so I've already placed them in there. There's 2 different sizes. It doesn't really matter, I guess, if you get them mixed up. But they're going to be going kind of pointing all directions, so we'll get those lined up. And actually what I'll do is I'll put them all in and then put some glue along the edge just so that I guess they're orky things. They don't really need to be in any sort of pattern, but I want them to fan out kind of nicely. So I'll push them in there and do something like that. So they're a little bit random. And I'll get a bit of glue in there. And just make sure they're nice and pushed in. So not sure that it matters exactly which order they're in. It doesn't matter actually, they're all decoration. So there's all my exhaust ports there. Then this piece here is going to go on the, that's number 80. It's going to go on the back side here. Make sure I get it the right direction. So it's only going to go one way. And it's interesting because that piece looks like it's kind of optional. You could go without that, although it would leave off some of the detail because there's already detail underneath there that you're covering up. So I'm not sure what the design intention is there. So this is going to go on, there's just a couple holes there. So I'll just make sure that that fits in there. And then we'll come back and we'll do the rest of the hull assembly. Okay, so we're going to finish off the assembly of the body here. So what happens next is we're going to put these two bits together just like that. So there doesn't seem to be too much to line things up with, apart from the fact that they just kind of sit nicely there. So I'm going to hold that in place and get some glue along those contact points. And let the capillary action pull it all up through there. There we go. Okay, so that's in place there. Now we have a couple more connectors here. So this one is going to go in the top right there. And again, it's almost as if there's like an alternate build here that I'm not seeing the way these things are going. Not quite sure why they are like that. Whatever. There's lots of glue there. And then this guy here is going to connect these two. So it's going to go from there to there. There we go. So that's that. Next thing up is the legs, which I may not glue on just yet, and I've got some drivers and other bits here and there and everywhere that will go together. So let's come back when those are all ready. Okay, so I'm going to finish off the last bit of assembly here. So there's some glyphs that are going to go on the fronts of these feet, just like that. So it doesn't really matter which one goes where. They're both the same. Well, they're both different, but they do the same thing. So put this one on here. Just try to center it, even though orcs would never try to do that. Lots of glue there. I've been trying to line up the feet or the legs here to see what kind of pose I can get to make it look like it's mid-stride. And it's going to be very difficult to make it look anything different than just standing still. Anything that's going to be kind of lined up semi-straight will, I don't know, it's not really going to do a whole lot in terms of posing. These guys here are going to go on the outside here, like that. Those little line up there. Little mud flaps, I guess these are. So I may end up just putting the feet back in the sort of original position there, and just gluing everything solid. It doesn't seem to be much point in trying to fiddle around with this. There's just not enough degrees of freedom. I might be able to do it sort of mid-stride with that one, but then the other one, to make it look as though it's placing its foot, it's going to be very difficult to make it look proper, I think. Just if I do that one like that, and the other one maybe lifting, I guess I could. It might be a little difficult to get balancing. Anyways, then there's the driver here. I'm not going to glue him in. He's going to go in the top up there. I'm just going to glue on his head, and I'll paint him separately and place him in once he's all painted up. So that'll be a sub-assembly to keep off for now. Okay, so that's the main assembly of everything. The next bits are all going to be splitting between the Gorkanaut and the Morkanaut. I'm going to do the Gorkanaut. I think I've decided that at this point. And so I'm going to continue on with the steps 6 through 8 to finish that off. Alright, here we go with step 6. This is going to be assembling the claw of the Gorkanaut. So let's get some glue out here. So these two pieces, number 124 and 123, are going to go together first. Something like that. So we'll get some. And then number 89 is going to go on the back side of those, which is this piece here. Okay, so put those aside. Now we have this pin here, 133, and this kind of a joint piece here, 126, and that's going to go in the middle there. And there's little pins on the outside of that, and they're just going to go inside those little slots right in there. So let's do that, and put a touch of glue. Okay, now I'm going to assemble the two halves of the claws. So I have 98 and 99. I'm going to go together. Oh, that's not the right one. These two here. Just like that. And I'll have to just make sure that I sand along those edges there to make sure that there's no visible joints left. And do the same on the opposite side here. And what I can do is take the mold removal tool and just scrape along there. That'll just help blend that joint a little bit. Just like that. Okay, and then these are going to go on that piece I put together already. I don't think that matters which one's which because I've already confused the two of them. So I'll just slide those on like that. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any difference between them. Okay, and then to finish up this step, okay, I've got these two big side pieces here. They're going to go on there. Now the instructions give you the option of doing this either right-handed or left-handed. So I'm doing it right-handed. And I'm not going to glue a bunch of these pieces just to make them movable at the end. So this piece goes in here. Now that's going to be solid in there. So we'll glue that. There we go. We have this piece here at the bottom. That's number 88. And that's just going to go in that pin. I'm not going to glue that either, I don't think. If I can just get that to line up. There we go. And yeah, this piece here goes like that. And it's going to glue along these two surfaces here that are going to join everything together. But I'm not going to glue any of those movable, or what I'm going to leave movable. So there. And put these two together, like so. There we go. Make sure the glue is all through there. And there we go, that's our claw all assembled. If you wanted to assemble this on the other hand, you would just flip this piece over here and the claw would just go the opposite way. So nothing to it. and these pieces here are still movable. I don't know if that really matters, but there we go. Oh, you know what? I actually assembled this on the opposite hand by accident. So there, it's going to go right there, just like that, and that's what it's going to look like. Now this is pretty loose, so I'm probably going to have to end up gluing that. Otherwise, it's going to look like a bit of a limp wrist. Okay, so let's move on to the Death Storm. Okay, I'm back with the assembly of the custom, the Death Storm Mega Shooter, sorry. But I also want to magnetize this custom Mega Blasta, or the giant one, and trying to figure out a way to do it because they share a lot of parts. So the way this is supposed to assemble is if this goes there, then you're using this on the inside of the thing. So what I've done, there's a little lip around the outside there. I've trimmed that off, and I've drilled this out a little bit using this 1/4 inch bit, and I have a couple 1/4 inch magnets. There's one in there glued in place, and there's another one sitting on top of it, which is kind of hard for me to get out at the moment. That one there's going to get glued onto a piece that I'm going to put in here, which this just happens to be 25mm diameter, so a slotted base fits almost perfectly. You have to trim it down just a touch, and these two are going to go together. So it's going to go, the edge of the slotted base is going to go in the groove. It's actually not a slotted base, it's a solid one. And the idea here is, because I trimmed this, it's going to fit flush in here. And why is that flashing? Alright, welcome back. This one I'm going to look at the Death Storm Mega Shooter, and I wanted to be able to magnetize it to be able to flip out the custom Mega Blasta in there. The problem though is that they share a lot of parts. So to do the custom Mega Blasta, this gets mounted in there, and obviously those get used and are kind of hidden in there. There's also a bit of difference with the back and the guns and all that, but I'm not too worried about that. I just want to be able to have the front of this barrel to be swappable. So the first thing that I noticed is there's a groove on the inside of this piece here, and there was a little lip on the edge here. So I trimmed that lip off. I've drilled out this bit here to a 1/4 inch size because that's the magnets I'm going to use, and I placed a magnet in there and glued it in. And then what I need is something that's going to fit in there that this will just butt up against and go with the magnet. So I found out that this is almost exactly 25mm, so a solid round base is going to go in there. I'm going to glue that in place, and I'm going to glue a magnet onto the front side there, and then actually I might even do it on the back side, so that way this will sit nice and flush. So that's going to go in there like that, and then this will pop out, and I'll put another magnet in here with some sort of a spacer so that this will just sit on there. So it's not going to be perfect, but it'll look good enough for tabletop, WYSIWYG kind of a scenario. So that's how I'm going to magnetize this up. So I'm going to do a bit of gluing off camera, and I'll come back and I'll show you part way through. Alright, so I'm all done the magnetization. Just a final recap here. I put a piece of plastic tubing in there that just slid right inside there with the magnet glue butted on the end there. And what it's going to do is it's going to magnetize on like that. So all the rest of the super shooter will be the same. It'll have the ammo coming out, but this will allow me to swap out the gun. And then the other side of it is this. All I did was I trimmed that edge there, and it's going to go flush like that. So that's going to be basically the same. It might be sticking out a touch right there, but I think that's okay. And actually I might even be able to trim that back a bit just so it sits in there a bit nicer. So I'm going to finish off the rest of the assembly here. Just grab my... Okay, so I've got to assemble these two pieces. It's going to be like a little mouth thing at the bottom of the gun. Okay, and it's actually, maybe we'll get that ready. It's going to go on here. You'll notice there's a bit of a gap there. I had a, oh, actually, you know what? I did that wrong. It's going on these pieces right here, those flat ones. The slotted base I used didn't quite fit perfectly, so it stuck out a bit. Okay, so there's that. Here's the arm mount. I'm supposed to do that first. So these two pieces just go together nicely. And that's going to be kind of the shoulder ball joint. Got this piece here that's going to go on the outside here. And that's just the if you were to swap the side that this is on. When I was doing the arm, I put it on the wrong way, and I swapped that back around the other way. So these are going to be this is the left hand here, or left shoulder arm. Then I'm going to put this. This is the back seat here, where the driver or shooter guy is going to go, and just going to go on the bottom there. I really like this feature. The guy kind of sitting at the back is going to be shooting the gun and controlling it. You've got this little targeter sight, which looks a lot like the one on the Land Raider las cannons, and it's going to go right near the back here as well. Where does that go? Oh. I think I've done this a bit. Okay, I've got to do this piece here goes on first, and then there we go. This piece is going to go there, and then you just got to make sure you don't glue everything together, because you want things to be able to rotate. So that goes, oops, in there like that. This other piece is going to go there, and that lets that continue to rotate. And there we go. Then that piece goes in that hole, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to come back with the final assembly. Number 8 is going to have the driver and the head and all that sort of stuff. Alright, here we go with step 8. This is the final assembly. So I'm going to start out with the driver for the gun, or whatever he's called, the crewman. So I chose the head with little goggles there. I'm going to put them on like that. These arms have little nubs in them that help you line up the direction of everything, which is excellent. Oftentimes it's hard to get these things all lined up exactly the way they're supposed to be, so this helps. Otherwise you end up with two smooth surfaces and you can never get anything to quite work, although this is for some reason not lining up for me. There we go. Okay, so it's down further than I thought it would be. Put a little bit more glue there. Get these two guys together. There we go. So he's going to go like that, and I'm not going to glue him on there just yet. I think I want to glue him on after I've painted everything, so I'll put him aside. Next up we have the head. So the main head, there's only one option for that, and then there's two different fronts to the head depending if you do the Morkanaut or the Gorkanaut. So I'm doing the Gorkanaut, so I use this head. Obviously I could use the other one, it doesn't really matter, there's no rules difference, but the other one has sort of an evil eye kind of a thing, or a, I don't know what it is, but whatever the case. Okay, so that goes there. Now this will go in here eventually, and actually that's going to be, oh, that'll fit in there okay. Anyways, I'm going to take that out because I want to paint that separately, and I want to maintain the ability to move that head later. Onto the claw arm here, there's some little pieces for the big shooters. So these could be optional, I guess. I mean, there's details underneath there that I'm covering up by putting these guys in place. And these big shooters are going to go in there. Actually, I'm not going to glue them on just yet because I want to drill out the barrels, so I forgot to do that. On the hull here, there's a cover for this this hole that will go there. If I had switched the arms around, that hole would have been used for the ammo belt, or in the case of the custom Mega Blasta, all the hoses and whatnot to power it. So that's going to stay off for now. I've got this combi, looks like a combi Scorch Ashuta. It says this is optional, so I'm going to just glue it together, and it kind of press fits in the front of the model. I don't recall seeing this in the rules as being an option, so I'm not sure exactly how that works. Maybe this is meant to be a fire port type of a thing. So anyways, there's that option. There's also a combi, a Mega Blasta, or that can go in there, or just a plain old light. Okay, some other options here. I'm going to put together the missile assembly. So that's going to go up on the top of the hull. Now it seems as though they've done these. These are 2 twin-linked missiles. So when kind of like on the Defcoptas from Assault on Black Reach, 4 missiles equals 2 times twin-linked. So those go like that. And I'm not going to glue that in there yet, but it will go up at the top. So I'm going to have those pointed skyward. Actually, I'll just leave that in there so they dry nicely. Next I have the jaw piece. And again, I don't think I want to glue this on. I just want to glue the 2 halves together so that I have that ready. If I glue that on, it might be difficult to access everything inside the head, but it will eventually go there. So once that's dry and I can move it around a bit, I might try dry fitting it in. But either way, the head is not going to get glued on until after, because it'll be too hard to paint in all of that. Okay, so a couple more details to put on here. So I'm not going to glue the arms on, as I mentioned. I've got these giant shoulder pads that will go on here, so I got to see how they line up. So it doesn't seem to be any particular way to do these. There's this little bump there, so I'm not sure. I think that's the only contact piece there. So it's just going to glue right on straight on the top. So let's put a bit of glue there, and make sure that I have these kind of lined up with each other. Do the same for the other side. Although again, with Orks, it doesn't have to be exactly lined up. I'm probably being more exact than I should be, but that's those on there now. And then there's a whole lot of other bits. Oh, actually, I forgot all the ammo firing out of here, so I want to put these in. I'm going to do it so that the close pieces are near the bottom. Just glue that in there. Now, there was an order for these. I don't know that it really matters. I'm going to make it look like gravity is working a little bit there. Actually, this one here, yeah, I'm going to do it like that. And that one will go, actually, you know what, that one should go there. There we go. So there's all my empty rounds firing out. And then I've got a couple glyph pieces here there. I've got these horns that you can glue on the front, so you can kind of pick your orientation for those, so they can be pointed down, pointed up, they can be done whatever way you want, or not on there at all. I think I'm going to do them up because I'm going to be painting this up as a Goth vehicle, because I've got a lot of Goth stuff in my army, and I think for the first thing of everything, I always like to do it kind of as a core thing in my army. So let's try to line these up relatively evenly. And just make sure that these are in line, more or less. Again, being an Ork vehicle, being lined up is a relative thing. So that's it. That's basically everything assembled, and I'll kind of dry fit things together, and I'll take some pictures for comparison. But that's the vehicle. So I hope you enjoyed this assembly, and see you next time when I start painting this up.